right, so the next one is neck stretches. I know everybody likes them, and I think I like to believe that everybody feels stretching your neck is the solution to all problems. It's the be all end all, but it's not. And that's why I didn't discuss this earlier, and it's more at the tail order of the list that I have. So stretches are great, it makes you feel good, but they're not exactly the solution to all the problems. Nevertheless, if you have no pain and you're doing some of the movements that I showed you in the videos above, it's always a good idea to do a little bit of neck stretching as well. So today we're going to talk about the big two stretches that I like to do. If again you're one of the people who's hit by the Instagramitis bug, right, and always looking down, so think about stretching. We're going to stretch two muscles. So the first one is the upper trapezius. It's that guy over here which everybody complains is really stiff and tight and has knots and feels like a rock. So we're going to stretch that muscle. And then there's another big one which might not be famous with as a muscle with the regular population, but it's a big one, and you see a lot of dysfunctions with that, is the Levator scap. So the Levator scap kind of runs from the C2 and C2 and goes down and starts into like the superior medial border of the shoulder blade. So it kind of runs along here, and the trap runs around here, right? So we're going to stretch both the guys. So for the first one, we're going to stretch the upper trapezius muscle. The way you want to do that is, again, always in a chin tucked in position, so your head is nice and upright. You never want to do it like that. So tuck your chin in. Really good idea to master that chin tuck. And then touching your ears to your shoulder blades. Your ears to your shoulders. And then just adding a little bit of pressure when you start feeling a gentle tension along the muscles, and relax. So a lot of times we find that when we're doing the stretch, that the shoulder tends to hike up a little. Sometimes people might end up doing this and you don't get exactly the stretch that you need. So one of the things we like to do is we want to pin that shoulder down so that the muscle is really attached to the shoulder at the back. So you want to turn your arm back like that, and that will kind of pin your shoulders down, and now tuck your chin in and try to touch your ears to your shoulder on the opposite side. And in this position, I'm actually stretching my right side trapezius muscle. Same thing for the other side. I'm going to pin my left shoulder by placing my arm behind, tucking my chin in, and then trying to touch my ear to my shoulder. And as soon as I start feeling a gentle stretch along that muscle, I'll hold that for about 30 seconds to a minute. I don't want to be too aggressive. I generally don't like to be too aggressive with my stretches. As long as I feel a gentle pull in the muscle, I think it's a better idea to hold it for a longer period of time and not being too aggressive, because a tight muscle can, like being really aggressive with your stretching could actually aggravate some of your symptoms. But again, hopefully you should have no symptoms when you're doing this, and you're just doing this as a prevention to avoid neck pain. So that's the first one. The second one is stretching your levator scap. And if you remember, this muscle is kind of behind just a little bit, so not exactly on the side. So the way you want to stretch that is, I'm going to show you a stretch for my right levator scap. You want to bring your arm back again, the same position, so you're pinning that shoulder down. And this time, you're almost looking at a 45-degree angle and looking down into your armpit. So that's the cue here. So tuck your chin in, turn to about a 45-degree angle, and look down into your armpit. There. And when you do this, you should feel a good stretch at the back here. And when you start feeling that gentle tension, hold that for the same thing, 30 seconds to a minute, and back. Same thing on the other side. So if I want to stretch my left side, left arm goes back, tuck my chin in, and I look down towards my armpit. If I want to add a little overpressure, I'll reach my head to the back and just give a gentle tuck. Again, avoid being aggressive with stretches. So oftentimes I get asked about sitting recommendations and if there's a certain way you could improve your sitting posture. And while most of the ergonomic chairs are designed to do just that, but I think there's something more that could be done to better your posture in sitting. What I generally recommend is using lumbar rolls. So lumbar rolls are these almost like semicircular soft rolls that you could buy online, which you place right around the lower back region to maintain that beautiful S shape of your spine and help you sit more upright. If you don't have that roll, what tends to happen is we tend to slouch or maybe have our buttocks roll forward, and our spine from a nice S loses that curvature and becomes like a C. If you look at my spine here, it's curved, and that gets us into that dreaded like forward flex position in this. Your neck goes forward, you're working like that, or you might be sitting forward like that, and your back is nice and arched. So you could get a lumbar roll online. There are a bunch of them. You could just Google, go on Amazon and get a lumbar roll. A simpler way is also to get maybe a nice sheet, maybe a pillowcase, something like that, which probably is about that much in thickness, so it's not really very thick. And you could also use something like that if you don't want to go for the more expensive lumbar rolls. The way I like to use this is, while I'm sitting, I'm going to place this right around the small of my lower back here, that little arch that we have. So place that lumbar roll right into that spot, and you're pushing your bums back, sitting nice and tall. So it removes that little space that is there that allows us to sink back into the chair and make sure that we are nice and upright. So that helps stabilize our sitting posture and helps us sitting for upright for a longer period of time. So definitely give it a shot. Play around with the thickness to get your desired level, but it shouldn't be too thick again. If it's too thick, that'll really put a lot of pressure on your back, and then again, you're going to sit there for a couple of hours. So make sure that you play around and get your desired thickness and it's comfortable. So following all the advice that I stated above is great. So if you've been following that religiously, definitely good for the neck, for your lower back as well. But here's one of the most important advice, right? You have to get up and move. Even after trying all these things, if you still find yourself sitting in one position for too long, that might still affect your back. So make sure you get up from that position and move around. So last but not the least is getting up and moving. And how do you do that? Sometimes you get really busy and it's hard to keep a track of time, and then the last time you moved and you might be 3 or 4 hours in your work and you haven't realized that you've been in one position, and suddenly you try to move your neck and you feel a little spasm or a little ache in your neck or something like that. So to avoid those things, one of the advice that I give my patients is to set an alarm or a timer on their phone for say about 30 minutes or maybe an hour, so that every time the timer goes off, if you're sitting, you just want to get up, like do some of the exercises that I showed you, just do simple neck stretches, turn to the side, walk around, go have a sip of water, just so that you're getting away from that static posture and the harmful effects that come from prolonged sitting in that position. Our body is meant to move, and that's what we should be doing. So some people find it hard to put an alarm every 30 minutes, but I think it's a great strategy if you want to avoid a visit to your physio or a doctor, or be stuck with neck pain. So this is a big one. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you set a timer, just get up, move around a little bit. If you cannot do half an hour, that's fine, at least once an hour, but make sure you get that movement. So get out of the chair and start moving. Hope these videos and all the advice helps, and make sure you remember that if you have pain, you first must go see a physio or a doctor before trying these things. Great.